Now, let me tell you a story. This ain't something I talk about often, 'cause folks either don't believe me or they look at me like I've lost my mind. But it happened. I swear to you, happened back in the winter of '53, when I was just a boy living in Mississippi. I was about 10 years old at the time. I lived with my grandma and my 3 great aunts in a little shotgun house on my family property. Times were hard back then. My father, he had been accused of stealing and got hauled off to Parchman State Prison. But we made do. Now, Aunt Rita, she was my favorite, always had a kind word for me, and Lord knows, she made the best sweet potato pie this side of heaven. She'd hum gospel tunes while she cooked, and her laugh could warm up the coldest day. She was more like a second mama than an aunt to me. That winter though, that winter took her from us. She caught pneumonia out of nowhere, and in just a few days, she was gone. I ain't never cried so hard in my life. When she passed, it felt like somebody took the sunshine out of the world. The day of her funeral was the coldest I can remember. Frost was on the windows, and even the trees looked like they were in mourning. They stood there all bare and brittle under the gray sky. Everybody in the house was moving around slow, trying to get ready for the service. I was supposed to wear this suit my grandma had picked out for me, but I couldn't find my tie. It was a little black tie, nothing fancy, but I had to have it. I looked high and low for that tie. Even turned my room upside down in my search, asked everybody if they'd seen it. My grandma finally said, "Boy, I think I saw it in Rita's room. You go on and check in there." My stomach dropped. Ever since Aunt Rita passed, I hadn't set foot in that room. It felt different, like the air was heavier or something. But I wanted to be dressed proper for her, so I swallowed my nerves and walked down the hall. When I pushed open the door, the first thing I noticed was how cold it was in there. Colder than the rest of the house. It smelled faintly of lavender, like Aunt Rita's favorite perfume. Her room looked just like it always did. Tidy, with her little rocker by the window and her vanity table against the wall. And then I saw her. She was sitting right there, in her chair by the mirror. Aunt Rita, plain as day, looking just like she did before she got sick. She was wearing that blue dress she loved, the one with the little white flowers on it. Her hair was done up neat, and she had this soft smile on her face like she'd just been waiting for me. I froze, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. My heart was beating so hard I thought it might bust clean out of my chest. And then she spoke. Her voice was soft, like the rustling of leaves. She said, "Here, baby. You forgot this, and I'll be dogged if she didn't hold up my tie, just dangling it from her fingers like it was the most natural thing in the world." I don't know how I found the strength, but I snatched that tie out of her hand so fast I nearly fell backward. I didn't say nothing, I just ran. Ran like the devil himself was chasing me. Never looked back neither. I didn't stop till I was back in the living room with my grandma. I never went back in that room after that. Not once. Eventually, they packed it up and kept the door shut tight. But here's the thing. I wasn't scared of Aunt Rita, not really. It wasn't like she was trying to hurt me or anything. I think she just wanted to help me, one last time. But gosh, you don't expect to see someone sit in their bedroom when they're supposed to be in the casket at the church. It was enough to rattle anybody, let me tell you. To this day, I still got that tie. And every time I look at it, I think about Aunt Rita, sitting there in her chair, smiling at me like she always did. Makes me wonder, you know? Maybe she's still looking out for me, from wherever she is.